Hey, today's video is sponsored by our great friends at Ifixit. You've probably seen me use their tools here in the cave. They're definitely a staple of my kit, and more on them later. But for right now, let's get into the video. Hey everybody, Adam Savage here in my cave with a show and tell one day build-ish that involves something that happens all the time here in the shop, which is sharpening. I'm going to say way out at the front of this video that I am not an expert in sharpening. I know enough to get in trouble. I know enough to keep the tools that I use sharp. But if you're watching this video and you think, hey, this guy's kind of an idiot about sharpening, the answer is yes. I do not have an extensive knowledge of sharpening, nor do I have like extensive training in it. But recently, in going through and organizing some of my tool stackage, I'm looking here behind the camera because this wall of hand tools that I have behind the camera got reorganized recently. And when I did, I found something I had forgotten that I had, which was a knife sharpening system. And I wanted to break it out. I wanted to use it on a specific knife I've got. And then I have a couple of modifications I want to do to this knife sharpener just to make it a little more comfortable to use. This is the KME Precision Knife Sharpening System Diamond Stone Kit. I did some research and this was highly regarded. There is this super expensive Russian set of knife sharpening thing out there. I have not invested in it. It's expensive. It's beautiful. This is sort of a similar kind of sharpening system. So let's put it together and let's talk about what it does. That's the base. We've got a post that goes into the base. I may also rejigger how this whole thing lays out. The main sharpening body goes there. The knife, oh, this knife is fun. This was Tom Sachs and his team came to San Francisco to do space program in a couple of years ago. And my shop here provided some support for Tom's team. They came and they built some stuff here and borrowed tools when they needed them. And as a thank you, Tom's entire team signed and etched into a Swiss Army knife for me. And this is one of my favorite possessions. As is a Swiss champ, this is one of my, this is one of the best Swiss Army knives ever. Anyway, and its blade is super, super dull, so I'm going to sharpen it. And I'm going to show you how the sharpener works as part of an example. All right, so this sharpener has a blade clamp. And you put the blade in the clamp. Roughly centered is the goal. And there are some etch lines here that help you find a position that you can repeat. The jaws of this look to me to be cast aluminum with a post machining step. It doesn't look like they're CNC'd. They might be CNC'd. They just look like they're some kind of pot metal. Anyway, okay, I gotta tighten that up just to. So the clamp has the ability to move the knife 180 degrees, so you can sharpen both sides without unmounting it and remounting it, which is nice. Tension for this can be set here. Yeah, all right. So then you break out the sharpening stones, and they've got a fine, let's see here, we got 600 grit, 1500 grit, 300 grit, and 140 grit. So we always start with the rough, and the diamond grip, the diamond stone goes in this holder and gets clamped down. Then, I know it seems like a lot of assembly, but really it's not. Then you pop in the guide. This long rod ends up helping you maintain a perfect angle while sharpening. So you set the back of the, there's an O-ring back here that stops this here, and there is a movable shaft collar here, which does the same thing, so that you can set a stop for sharpening. Now, that's not good at all because I'm way off angle. Hold on, let me just get this angle a little better. Ooh, I'm going to have to mount this a little farther out. Okay, problem I have with this sharpener, the first problem is like, where do you put stuff when you're trying to tighten it and you've assembled this and now I want to move the knife and this is kind of in my way. I may not come to a solution for that today, but I want to. All right. Yeah, that is not bad. I was just watching Stefan Gutzevinter using a magnifier to double check position, and it's my new favorite trick. This is great for being able to really see up close, especially with my old eyes. Okay, so with the angle properly set, the sharpening happens like this. We take the rough one and we give it a light slide. You don't want to go too heavy with these diamond scrapers, apparently. Okay, so a couple things. First of all, I think I need a little bit of light oil in here. Let's get a little machine oil, just a drop of it right there. Great. Much better. Second of all, I don't like holding on to this thing. I want a little here, and I want it right about here. I want a little knob there. I'm going to put a knob there. That's definitely what's going to happen. This thing of, I wonder if it is, I just find myself wondering if it's not possible to hold it up here in some way. Like a, and a, or a, I'm gonna have to think about that one. But the other thing that I want to add to improve my use of this, I am not saying it is poorly designed, I am only saying I would like it to have a slightly different design, is the release of the clamp has this thing, and it kind of, yeah. My issue with the clamp, it works great. This is how you're supposed to open it. You push against this thing and the clamp opens up. And it does work with a knife like this. However, if you're like trying to do it in any other angle, it doesn't quite work. So in here, between this jaw and this jaw, I've got a little meat. What I'd like to do is I'd like to add a pair of springs into those two jaws just to make the opening of these jaws much more positive in every way that I may utilize the opening of those jaws. So those are the two main modifications. I'm going to put a little knob right here at about the 1/3 mark, and I am going to add some springs here. I may also, I'm going to keep trying to think of a way to be able to move this up and out of the way. I really don't know how possible that is, but we'll see. Oh, it is a lovely construction, to be fair. It's really nicely designed. Particular to note the simplicity of the blade clamp, in that it's two identical pieces. It might be CNC, they might be cast aluminum. A pin that goes up the middle, and when you clamp the pin, it clamps the jaws. I really appreciate the simplicity of that. That is absolutely fabulous. Okay. All right, so that is, yep. This is going to be my knob. This is a ball of Delrin that is 1 inch in diameter. I'm going to chuck this into the lathe and put it on a piece of 1/4 inch threaded rod, and I'm going to mount it right in there with a threaded insert. So let me grab that. Now the other question is, do I want this to be more substantial? This is for Yeah, sharpening. I feel like I want to make this a little bit more interesting. Yes. Teflon. That's a chunk of Teflon, and it's really useful. I think I can make a slightly better handle than that. Let's make it out of Teflon. We'll do the same attachment, except, yeah, we'll grab it right about there. That is 493 thou. Got some all thread here. I'm going to cut a little piece of it. There we go. Lovely. Knob goes on the end of the all thread. All right. I want to see if I can pull this out. And I picked the right Allen wrench on the first try. That never happens. All right, they glued that in with some thread locker, which is great. Question is this... All right, so the aluminum goes all the way through. And I guess I can come all the way down. Yeah, I can, because I don't need to throw. All right, yeah. I like it. All right. Excellent. Oh, nice. Good. All right, so. Excellent. All right, we install. So what I've done is I've drilled a hole in the wood and I've tapped it, but I've tapped it not for the 1/4-20, but for a threaded insert called Helix Coil. That's a brand name. There are a bunch of different companies that operate like this. This is artificial thread. So it's a spring, as you can see, but the cross section of this spring equals a threaded rod. So I can take this 1/4-20 and I can thread it in here. So the tap for this opens up the hole to fit this, and I install it with this installation tool like this. And when you strip out a thread somewhere, these will save your butt in a way that nothing else will save your butt. They're really incredibly useful. And there you go. Now I have a beautiful solid 1/4-20 thread embedded in the wood here. The installation tool uses a fork at the end that goes across a little pin that cuts across the spring there to allow you to torque it. And you simply tap that out at the end. And it falls right out because it's hardened steel. Oh, it fell out of the bottom, didn't it? So it did. Great. So now the 1/4-20 knob goes in there. I want a little right there. Yeah, so I'm going to make that out of brass. I'm going to measure this. Come on. When you use a pipe cutter, it tends to cinch in the ends of the brass tubing that you're cutting. So you've got to open it back up again. But this is going to work great. Come on, there you go. And tighten it. Oh, nice. Oh, I'm very happy with that. Nice and positive. Good, okay. Step 1 complete. And now a note about our sponsor, Ifixit. They are a company that makes tools and tech and videos for repairing your technology. They are also a like-minded community that is global, encouraging each other to fix things instead of buy new stuff. They are also at the forefront of the right to repair movement, a really important movement to my heart. If you don't know about it, right to repair asserts that when we buy things, we have the right to change them, modify them, destroy them, make them better, make them worse, whatever we want to do with them. That might sound obvious, but there are large interests in the world trying to subvert that, trying to lock us out of the very things and devices that we buy. And that is not okay. Ifixit is on the vanguard of the right to repair movement. Also, it turns out this month is Fix-It February. Ifixit and other YouTube content creators are challenging their communities to fix or make something new rather than buying something. And if you post pictures of your construction to Twitter or Instagram using hashtag #FixItFeb, right there, one winner will be chosen each week to receive a Pro Tech Toolkit. So get yourself to fixing, modifying, or making some new tools for yourself. Post those constructions on the socials. And now back to the video. Okay, gonna go over to the mill. Here we go. Gives me my XY. Right? Yeah, that's exactly the halfway point. Good. And 6. Great. And now we move to the other side. 0.4 over there. Come on. There you go. Great. Dowel pin goes back. That comes up. Springs come over here. So yeah, what I ended up with was this nice little seat pocket for a spring to go on the outside of the jaws. And I'm going to use this spring and I'm just going to cut it in half and put 1/2 in each of these, join these together, and that should give me my sprung jaws. Okay, so time for reassembly. Great. Working beautifully. Okay, so now what happens? Now, that to there. Yes, that's it. Oh, oh, this is going to take a little bit. Oh, wait, I can't do this yet. You can probably see that my Teflon is out of round, and I don't really mind. It's not critical for this application, so I'm just not remotely worrying about it. All right, that's pretty nice. Okay. Nice, good and solid. I like that. Now it needs to fit onto this, which means I need to use one of these two reamers. I think this is the 499 31/64. Okay, we'll try that one first. Good, still a little bit of a tight fit. That's what I want. I'm going to open it up one more bit. I think this is the 4990. Yes, here we go. What I'm using right now is called a reamer. This makes a hole that is one size under a 1/2 inch. I think it's 31/64. And a reamer makes a perfectly smooth-sided hole. It is how to get your hole exactly parallel and smooth. The drill bits, the twist drills, don't often do that. And you can buy reamers at the critical measurements like 3/16, 3/8, 1/2 inch, etc. But you can also buy a set, and that's what this set is it has reamers that are 10 thousandths under 1/2 inch and 10 thousandths over 1/2 inch. 10 thousandths under 3/8, 10 thousandths over 3/8. And this gives you some very specific tolerances. And so this is 10 thou under. And when I do this, it should actually give me a really nice bearing fit on that rod. And that should be a really nice fit. Yeah, there we go. So we can start to put this guy back together. First, there's the post. Second, there's the arrangement. Third, this guy goes on here and now we put on the spring tension for turning. This is great. Open this up and it immediately opens up. You don't need to do this business. I like that better. I'm more pleased with that. So I can hold on to my knife just by loosening this, getting it in there on that first mark, roughly centered on the blade, tighten it down. And then for turning the blade, yep, look at that. Good. Now, right, it's this part. So, yes, this goes back in here. I'm just going to add a little bit of Loctite, which is another thread locker. There we go. Good, nice and solid. And that goes there, that goes there. We can move up to the 600 grit. Now I'm going to attach this to the crossbar. Good. I'm not running into the clamp at all. Good. Do a flip. This, I will tell you that, like, I've always been into the gear. I've always been a gearhead since my earliest days. But one of my favorite things about being a gearhead is taking something that works pretty well and just making a couple modifications to make it work really well for me. Like, product designers are brilliant. They can make beautiful things, but they're not always going to hit the sweet spot for me, right? I mean, that's just part and parcel of, you know, we're all individuals. So taking something and making it one extra little bit of bespoke like this is a really nice amount of control, personally. I do believe the Swiss Army knife is on the small end of acceptable knives for this carrier, because I definitely was reaching its limits. But that is freaking sharp. I'm not going to do the paper thing. I don't know how to do it. I've never done it well. Every time I do it, I look like an idiot. So you're going to have to take my word for it. That is bloody, lovely sharp. I'm very happy with this knife sharpener. I'm even happier with the mods that I've made. And there may be more still. You never know. I really do want to work out a way to get this out of the way. And maybe that's putting this higher and having a bungee up here or something like that. I don't know. I may want a second stop on this. It's a good question. There's a lot of little things that I may end up doing, but for the most part, the form factor on this is delightful, and I think I've made it even easier to use. Thank you guys for joining me for this tooltip one-day build. Yeah, I'm curious about your knife sharpening tips and tricks. Like I said, I am not an expert at it. I know enough to get done what I need to get done here, but any guidance is gratefully received. Go ahead and comment in the comments below. I will see you guys next time. Thanks.